A bit later I go into the kitchen to make myself some tea. I look down, and guys, it was a pamphlet on godly dating. My husband of 25 years, her only son, had been dead maybe 2 hours. Hello there. Welcome to Redditor, where we shamelessly ask you to subscribe and like the video if you enjoy it, and where we say to smash the bell and hate ourselves for it while we go down an existential crisis mentally that slowly eats away at you day after day, video after video, late night of editing after late night of editing, until one day they find you on the roof barking at traffic with your underwear on your head blasting turn down for what from a speaker stuck in your, whoa, sorry, blacked out there for a second. Anyway, on with the video. Enjoy. /just no mother-in-law. Mother-in-law is bullying my baby. I wish this was a joke. I had my son 9 months ago, and he is the absolute joy of my life. My husband has another son from a previous marriage who is 8. I have a good relationship with my stepson, and he loves his little brother. My in-laws came down to visit my dear stepson and dear son this weekend. Because my dear stepson is headed back to his mom's for the school year in a week. They showed up while my son was napping, and they didn't even say hi to me, just asked where the baby was. When my son woke up I brought him out in his cute fancy clothes, because it was a special occasion. He just had on jeans and a button-up shirt, nothing crazy. The first thing mother-in-law did was besnacho that it was too hot for him to be in that, and it was weird. This hurt my feelings, but I tried to brush it off. She then grabbed him to hold him, and he started to cry. He's in the stranger danger phase, and hadn't seen her since he was 6 months old. She must have taken this personally, because she began treating my son like garbage. Meanwhile, she couldn't stop talking about how dear stepson looks so much like her son who passed away, and he's so special and wonderful. They brought dear stepson a pile of gifts and nothing for my son. My son is too young to really understand, but he seemed confused when his brother was looking at and playing with his new stuff while he had nothing. But it doesn't stop there. My son has began grasping with his hands when he is hungry, like a grabbing motion. She starting in about how this was odd behavior and how she was worried because he was missing milestones. She word for word said 6 months came and went and he still couldn't sit, and I was like that's not good, in a very rude sarcastic tone. He has missed no milestones, and he's even in the 99th percentile for language development. She then decided to tell my dear stepson that he's not allowed to ever change his last name. We had been discussing the possibility of him changing his name to his stepdad's name, and my husband is supportive of his son's decision because he is the only person to pass down the family name. I looked at her and said, "You realize my son is right here, right?" And she said, "Oh sorry, I forgot." What? Then she decided to make fun of my son's name because his first and last name happened to be the same as a company name. In front of my dear stepson she made fun of him and told my dear stepson Matt, last name, and Benji, last name. At least you're not named after a paint company, right, Matt? And started to laugh and try to get my dear stepson to join in on making fun of my baby. Then, as if this wasn't enough, she went in on how much dear stepson looks like his dad in their family. She then looks at my son and said to him, "Who do you look like? You look really different." "I'm not sure. Not our family. Must look like your mom's family." This made me audibly laugh because my son has blue eyes like his dad, while mine are brown. It was so rude. Mind you, all of this happened when my husband left the house to run errands with my father-in-law. As soon as he came home she immediately stopped her disgusting behavior when he was there. My father-in-law, who I have never gotten along with, treated my son and SS the same. He was kind and loving and interactive and did not say one rude thing to anyone. When I told my husband, he confronted my mother-in-law and she cried and victimized herself. My father-in-law was even upset with her behavior and told my husband that she had been acting this way a lot and it was frankly unacceptable. I'm just shocked that anyone would treat a baby like this, let alone your own grandchild. She is not allowed around my son unless she gets it together. If you got this far, thank you for letting me vent, and please let me know if you have any advice for me. Quick edit. Forgot to mention, after all of this, she tried roping me into my sister-in-law's MLM. That time my just no mother-in-law demanded to hang out on our wedding night, and more. TW. Death. Hi everyone, just want to say that this is my fave sub and I read it every day. I have never posted before, but have commented lots. I had a just no mother-in-law for many years until my husband passed in 2015. We had been married for 25 years and had 4 kids. This is long, but in my humble opinion worth a read. My just no mother-in-law was nice, almost too nice, until the wedding plans began. She announced to us that she was coming over to spend time with us on our wedding night. We said, absolutely not. Of course. Honestly, we had met in the church and hadn't ever. Well, we wanted private time to say the least. And it was weird. Now, she was never the sort to get angry or fuss about things. She would just ask, nicely, over and over, like it was the first time she had ever broached the subject. She was deeply hurt by our refusal and brought it up nicely throughout our relationship. When I had children it was more of the same. My second child had to wear a medical device. She would ask him repeatedly if he wanted to take it off. We would say no, he has to wear it. He was fine wearing it. She would agree and turn right to him and say, honey, would you like to take that off? And we would tell her to stop and she would say of course and then do it again. Never once insulted me or raised her voice. I have a clear memory of when my son and daughter, twins, were toddlers and we had gone to the zoo. I had packed a picnic lunch and she asked me to set it up on one of the tables. She didn't offer to help with the kids or anything, and I was so very eager to please and never wanted to offend my husband's family. I was desperate for acceptance. She watched me set up the entire table, which took forever while kid wrangling, and then said, oh, I think that other table would be better. I just did it, because who wants to listen to her ask nicely if the other table might be better for an hour and a half? She once called and said she was coming to visit. We live in the Pacific Northwest and she is in the Northern Midwest. We told her the dates she wanted to come wouldn't work. We would be visiting my family. We had already bought train tickets. We ended the conversation with the agreement that she would visit in the fall. The day before our vacation. Ding dong. She's at the door. Kids are thrilled. I will say she was a fantastic grandma as far as being nice to the kids and playing with them. We ended up cancelling our vacation. I wish there had been this thread back then. This sort of thing continued for years. We had no money. We worked in a church that provided shelter and clothing for homeless people. We were fine that way. When we went to her house for Christmas, we were told that we were drawing names for $50 gifts. We told her we didn't have that sort of money. She said, no worries, I will buy something for you to give. Cool. Christmas Day, family gathering, 10 minutes before Christmas exchange. I ask her, did you get a gift for us to give? She replies that we can't just expect her to pay for everything, sweetly of course, and announces that someone won't be getting a gift because we didn't get one, because we spent too much money on our kids for Christmas. Nice. We pretty much went VLC after that. It was just too much. Many years later, my husband became ill with a degenerative disease. He suffered greatly, and she was there when he died. The last month people kept showing up at my door from out of town to see him because she had invited them. I sat her down and told her that this was family time and I wasn't hosting anyone. Cut it out. It just continued. I finally shouted at her that it was my house and no one was visiting unless I said so. Then a week later a bunch of her friends show up to stay for a week. I was incredulous and asked her what the F she thought she was doing. She said, I just thought it would be a nice surprise for you. I yelled at her, but just made nice after that, because my poor husband didn't need us fighting around him. When my husband finally passed, after much pain and suffering, the funeral home came and got him. I was sitting on the couch in the dark, just numb with pain and grief. She comes in, sits down next to me, and says, I have been saving this for you, you should read it. Hands me a pamphlet and cheerfully goes upstairs. She always acted like everything was just fine, in a nutty sort of way. A bit later I go into the kitchen to make myself some tea. I look down, and guys, it was a pamphlet on godly dating. My husband of 25 years, her only son, had been dead maybe 2 hours. The insistence on going with on our wedding night and the pamphlet were perfect bookends to my relationship with the wakado. That is / was my just no mother-in-law. The kids are all adults and still friendly with her, and I'm nice and polite. However, long stays are not happening. Nope. Again, I wish I had this thread all those years ago. I have learned so much about boundaries and not needing everyone to like me, and my husband actually was far better at telling her to cut that shit out than I ever was. I appreciate you all and wish you happy times ahead. Whoa, you made it to the end? Nice. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe and like. I'm a new channel, and it helps a lot more than you think. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.